Yes, I noticed that there's some space weather. So I decided to do a short video here. I was looking at the SDO data, and you can look this up yourself. It's perfect. Looking at this coronal hole system here. We've got coronal hole with an active region, which is trying to become a sunspot, but it is not a sunspot. There is some interesting stuff on the magnetogram. And so you got the outgoing coronal hole, where the wind stream has just barely arrived, and the incoming coronal hole. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I think that the magnetic connection of this coronal hole is already here. I'll show you why. So I was also looking at solar ham. As you can see on the magnetogram, interesting fields, but no sunspot, right? Now, I wanted to bring your attention to, well, I'll close out on that. So on spaceweathernews.com, see the last 48 hours of the solar disk, 193 angstroms. There's your coronal holes. Now, you see this little drop off in X-ray flux activity, and then it comes back up again. The phi angle looks like it's zeroing in on a very high angle, like 330 or so. Solar wind density's just had a little drop off. The speed's gone up a little bit. This isn't going to change much. But the magnetometer is spiking. So you can see it's got very steep there. You see that little current steepness on the end? That's significant. That's the connection with that coronal hole. So we're going to have an electron dip in the next 24 hours. None of this KP stuff is going to change very much because we're only talking about the magnetic connection. But I believe in the next 24 hours you're going to see this way down here. So just making a little guess there. Maybe wrong, maybe right. All right. Here's the F2 ionosphere layer. Pretty discharged right now, and the magnetic connection should not significantly alter that. Now, I wanted to show you one other thing. At spaceweather.com, there's a great link here that's tough to find if you just search through NASA's sites. I think it's actually a NOAA site. But anyway, if you go to spaceweather.com, you look at the solar wind, it's going to give you the updated conditions of the solar wind. If you click on the Discover, you will get a page you don't usually see, and this is a fantastic setup right here. And this is customizable. You can set this to 1 week. You can do all kinds of changes to this, but this updates every minute. So if you're watching the real-time solar wind, this is the place to do it. Again, go to spaceweather.com and click on the Discover. Right under the solar wind, it'll take you to this page. So we're expecting the BTBZ to diverge from 0, which it has a little bit, but we're expecting that to get a little bit more. We're expecting the phi angle to stay zeroed in around 300 or so, which should be the magnetic connection with the coronal hole. And as far as the density should drop, and the speed should stay about where it is until the next wind stream gets here. So keep an eye. Thanks for looking out. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and share the videos. We will be doing more regularly.